That was a tiny bit disappointing. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. And again, I am a little slow to the punch here, but I am finally talking about Downsizing, the movie that just came out almost 2 weeks ago on Christmas, about Matt Damon getting shrunk down to live with people in the future. This movie has an interesting concept. I think this is a really great concept, especially if it is about saving the environment and making everything more environmentally friendly. And I was super excited for this movie because I am a huge fan of Kristen Wiig, but honestly, she's not in this as much as I thought and as much as the trailers made it seem like. There will be a slight spoiler later on, but it was spoiled for me before going into this by watching an interview on late night television, so just be forewarned. I apologize if it really upset you, because it's basically kind of the biggest surprise in this whole movie. But at the same time, it's not really the biggest surprise because, one, I think I say this in every single review I do, or most of the reviews I do, it's predictable. It's very predictable, but it also doesn't do anything. It's kind of a stagnant movie, and I will explain that in just a second. First, I want to talk about some of the actors in this movie before I get to a little bit more spoilery kind of topics and my personal thoughts on some of the things in this movie. Kristen Wiig, while she was in this, was really great. Whoops, sorry, that was my notebook. Kristen Wiig, while she's in this, was really great. Matt Damon is kind of his usual Matt Damon character, and I have a lot to say about Matt Damon's character. One, because he's the main character, but also he's what kind of I want to talk about for most of this. But Matt Damon as an actor did a normal Matt Damon job, and Christoph Waltz as his neighbor is very good. I mean, it's Christoph Waltz. He's an Oscar winner, and he's just really great in everything he does, but it was really weird to see him not German. I think he said he's Albanian, but he speaks French. I'm not good with geography, so I don't know if they speak French in Albania or if that's even a real country. Doesn't sound right. But correct me if I'm wrong on that. There are a couple really great cameos. One you see in the trailer, Neil Patrick Harris, and there is one that goes along with his cameo that I'm not going to spoil because I don't think I knew it was going to be in there, and it's a really great cameo by a really great actress, and I love it so much. If you do go see this or watch this at any time, I'm not going to spoil that for you because I loved her cameo. Do people know that her cameo is in there, or is it a surprise? I don't know. I mean, I want to try to keep this as spoiler free as possible because I don't like being spoiled for movies, and I try to go into movies with a fairly open mind and a fairly spoiler-free, or not knowledge-free, but I just don't want to go into a movie knowing everything about it unless it's something that I know a lot about beforehand, like Harry Potter or a biopic on some famous person. And the last actress I want to talk about before getting into any other personal beefs I have with this movie, because I have a lot of them, is the woman who plays the Vietnamese refugee, I guess. She is hilarious. She is probably my favorite part of this entire movie, even if her role does get a bit contrived towards the middle of the second act. I think that's when she shows up. Her role just kind of it's a little pushed in there, if that makes any sense. But now to my beefs with this movie. I thought I was going to enjoy this movie from the trailers. It looked really great. I had heard some not so great reviews on it, and that kind of left me a little shaky going into this, but I was still going in trying to have an open mind like I did with The Greatest Showman. I wasn't super stoked on seeing that movie, but I went in, saw it, and I loved it, or I liked it a lot. So this one, I was like, I think I'm gonna like this a lot, and I tried to go in with an open mind, trying not to think about any of the bad reviews, which I hadn't heard any of the reviews. I just heard that it wasn't getting very good reviews. So I tried to keep that out of my mind going into this, and I enjoyed the first act of it. It really sets the story up very, very well. It just kind of doesn't follow through. What I mean by that is Matt Damon's character of Paul, I think his name is Paul, I can't remember because he's not really that memorable of a character. He is literally just a one-dimensional character, and the movie makes it seem like he's gonna have this really great big story arc of going from this gullible, walked over guy who just takes care of everybody, who does whatever anybody says. He's very boring, he's very khaki, I guess is the best word to describe him. Spoiler alert, doesn't go anywhere, and I really was bothered by that. Like, I think I might go into a Lego Ninjago level rant on this, but I'm going to restrain myself because it's just, I was so excited to see a movie about something that it seemed like it was set in the present day, but it was very future techy, so I was super excited to see that and see something about saving the environment and all that stuff, which I do have some qualms about how they did this, like the biology and the physics and stuff, but I suspended my disbelief on that because it's a movie and it's kind of sci-fi-y. I wouldn't consider this a sci-fi movie. I don't even know what genre I would consider this. Maybe a comedy? It's not like super funny either. But because of the lack of story arc for Matt Damon's character, this movie felt like an eternity for me. I checked my watch multiple times, was like, is this movie over yet? Is it going anywhere? Because it felt like it was coming to an end in certain points, but then it just kept going. I think the reason though that it really felt so long for me was the fact that they just didn't have a full story arc for Matt Damon's character. They do have a somewhat story arc for him. Like, he's trying to find his purpose in this world and find himself, and he does that, but that's about the only thing he really achieves. He doesn't really become a different person. He still gets walked all over towards the end of the movie once he does finally find his purpose and understand what he is there for. But other than that, I was so bored, and it dragged on and dragged on. So aside from the story problems and the problems with Matt Damon's character, not him personally, he's a great actor, he does a great job of portraying this very walked all over character, I did have some problems with the filming of this. The cinematography is superb. It's an Alexander Payne movie, so I feel like this would not have these problems, so I think it might have just been the theater I was at. But there were times when the camera would move, like when Matt Damon's character first gets into his new house after he's been downsized, the camera pans over and there's this weird warping effect on the windows, and it just really bothered me. Like, I had to look away because it was bothering my eyes so much with the way the camera was warping, and this wasn't the only time it did that. There was a scene where Matt Damon is, as his like small person, signing some papers for a big person. So they're normal sized papers and he's like on top of them. When they kind of green screened him onto it, there's like this weird effect with the sign line and with Matt Damon that just kind of felt a little weird to me. And there were a couple times where it looked like the camera was just sitting on a tripod, just a general sticks, and looked like someone just kicked the stick. The camera shook a little bit and I was just like, this is not what I would expect from a movie of this level from this director. So I feel like, and I really hope that it was just the theater I was in. There were a couple little audio things too, like when someone was talking, it sounded like it skipped a little bit and there was like a syllable or a couple words missing, and it felt very strange to me. The scene didn't skip at all, just there was a frame taken out of the audio and it was so weird. So overall, I would probably give Downsizing a watch on TV. Just wait to watch this when it's on TV. Like, I'm pretty sure this is a movie that TNT or TBS or USA will probably play in reruns in a couple years from now. You can totally wait for that. If you really want to see this movie and you don't want to pay theater ticket prices, wait till it's in like a dollar theater, or go rent it on Redbox. But I honestly probably would never watch this again unless it was just playing on TV and there was nothing else to watch. I was so bored. The last good I want to say 2/3 in the movie, but there was this very weird and very awkward drug trip scene that Matt Damon's character goes on that didn't really fit into place and didn't really do much besides kind of introduce him even more to Christoph Waltz's character. Yeah, it was just very mostly boring. Those are all of my thoughts and opinions, and I would love to know yours. Let me know what you thought of the movie Downsizing if you have seen it. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, whoever you are. Let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like or subscribe if you're new, because I love talking new movies, old movies, fun, random filmmaking stuff, TV shows. I have so much planned for 2018, and I really hope you stick around and join me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!